So if you follow the world of artificial intelligence, the dominant narrative is, well, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, it's a race, a constant, dizzying race for the biggest brain.
Exactly. It's OpenAI, it's Gemini, it's Anthropic,
Yeah.
all of them just constantly pushing the boundaries, trying to build the smartest, fastest, most capable large language model out there.
And if you're just following the headlines, it can really look like Amazon. I mean, the undisputed giant of the cloud, the company that basically runs the internet, is uh, almost standing still.
Right. They aren't winning that high-profile smartest AI contest. And
Yeah.
that creates a real paradox. Have they just failed to compete?
Or are they playing an entirely different, much longer game?
That is the core of our deep dive today. Our sources show that Amazon is not absent at all. They've simply chosen a different battleground, a much more structural one.
Right. We're here to show that the real fight, the one for enduring value in AI, isn't really over peak intelligence. It's over infrastructure control and governance.
So today, we're going deep into Amazon Bedrock. Not just what it is, but what it represents. And we're going to introduce a critical concept we call the confirmed domain.
And this is so important. The confirmed domain is that unprobabilistic layer. It's the rules, the permissions, the audit trails, the legal responsibility that has to sit beneath the flashy performance of any LLM.
And understanding this domain explains exactly why companies like Palantir are thriving right now, and why pure model speed is really only half the story in enterprise AI.
It really is.
So let's start by digging into that Amazon paradox itself. Most people just assume they don't have an LLM because there's no Amazon ChatGPT equivalent.
Yeah, and that's a fundamental misunderstanding of their entire strategy. Amazon absolutely builds and operates LLMs.
They just don't have that one single consumer-facing flagship model.
Exactly. They've been very, very deliberate in using a corporate-first strategy. Their models are built for the enterprise, for back-end services where reliability and control are everything.
Okay, so our sources detail two main families here. First, there's Amazon Titan.
The stable workhorse, yeah, it's been around for a bit.
And more recently, they've introduced the tiered Nova models.
Right, and this is key. You've got Micro, Lite, Pro, and Premier. And that tiered approach, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about where they're focused.
Why do they need 4 versions?
Well, think about it. A huge bank doesn't need a Premier level Genius model, which is the most expensive and powerful. Just to summarize, thousands of customer service calls.
They'd use Nova Micro for that.
Exactly. For simple, high-volume tasks where speed and cost are what matters, they save the Nova Pro model for something like complex internal enterprise code generation.
Where the accuracy is paramount, but the data has to stay absolutely secure inside their own walls.
It's the model you can trust with your crown jewels over the model that can win a trivia contest. And this focus leads right to their biggest play, Bedrock.
Which, to be clear, is not an LLM.
No, not at all. It's the infrastructure for all LLMs. We often use an analogy here.
Go for it.
If Google's Gemini or OpenAI's GPT is the iPhone, a tightly controlled proprietary device,
Okay, yeah, a walled garden.
then Amazon Bedrock is the App Store. It's the marketplace where every other LLM can run.
I think that's a perfect way to put it, because AWS customers can go to Bedrock, and they can choose Amazon's own models, but they can also pick Anthropic's Claude.
Which is a key partner for them.
Right, or Meta's Llama, or Mistral, and it's all running through one common API, one security model, and one bill.
And here's where, an informed learner might push back a little. If Bedrock is a marketplace, doesn't that make it, less efficient? Slower, maybe, than a tightly integrated stack like Azure with OpenAI?
That's a really sharp question. And the trade-off is absolutely efficiency versus optionality. For an enterprise, the huge advantage is avoiding vendor lock-in completely. It's risk diversification.
So a company could use Claude, for one thing.
For sure. They could run Claude for tasks that need a lot of customer safety and a certain tone, and then in the same week, switch over to the Llama for some cost-sensitive batch processing job.
And if a new, better model comes out next month, they can just plug it in.
Exactly. It's a portfolio approach to AI. You aren't betting on one winner, you're betting on the entire landscape. Even the name, Bedrock, it's so deliberate.
The base rock.
The foundation. They're saying, we don't care who wins the model war, we're laying the stable, secure foundation that it all runs on.
Which is classic Amazon.
So if enterprise performance isn't just about benchmark scores, let's really dig into the structural pieces that matter more. We have to acknowledge it, right? GPT-4 might be better at raw, complex reasoning.
It might, yes, on paper. But the enterprise definition of performance is just. It's fundamentally different from the research definition.
How so?
When you talk to a CIO, say in finance or the public sector, their performance list has 5 things, and they're always in this order: stability, predictability, strict data security, a high SLA or service level agreement, and finally, predictable cost control.
They'd much rather have an answer that is always predictable and auditable?
Than one that is sometimes a genius, but occasionally hallucinates or leaks my customer data.
Absolutely.
This really puts the platform wars into perspective. Azure OpenAI is, by its nature, GPT-centric. It's a massive bet on OpenAI.
It is. If OpenAI stumbles or gets disrupted, Azure's whole AI offering takes a big hit. Bedrock is diversification. And for those regulated industries, that safety factor of the underlying infrastructure is the decider.
Okay, so let's break down the technical details of that security layer. What makes Bedrock inherently safer for, say, a bank's data?
It really comes down to 2 components that AWS talks about constantly: tight IAM and VPC integration.
IAM is.
Identity and access management. Think of it like the bouncer at the door of your data. It controls precisely who and what can touch your information, down to a specific API call. It's incredibly granular.
And VPC, the virtual private cloud.
Right. That's like setting up a completely private, walled-off room inside the public cloud. When you run a model through Bedrock, your data can stay entirely within that private network, completely isolated.
So it never even touches the public internet. Exactly. And that isolation is what allows Amazon to make that ironclad promise. Your input data is never used for training our public models. For an institutional buyer, that guarantee of control it trumps marginal performance gains every single time.
Okay, so we've established that the enterprise wants predictability and control over raw smarts. This pivots us perfectly to the most critical layer of all, the one that makes that control possible: the confirmed domain.
The confirmed domain, right. This is the unprobabilistic layer of any AI system. It's the LLM lives in the world of probability, predicting the next most likely word.
The confirmed domain lives in the world of rules and certainty.
100% certainty. This includes everything that must be auditable, reproducible, and legally responsible. So we're talking about the immutable rules, authorization and permissions, hard calculation, and retrieval of verified facts.
Give us a concrete example so we can really visualize it.
Think about a loan application. The LLM might be fantastic at writing the customized rejection letter, explaining the decision in a compassionate tone. But the confirmed domain is the piece of software that actually checks the credit score against a fixed threshold, that enforces the specific state interest rate laws, and calculates the legally required disclosure figures. That part cannot be probabilistic. It has to be auditable.
And our sources are crystal clear. The LLM, by its very nature, just cannot handle this layer.
It can't. It's a probability engine. It can understand the rules. It can even explain a calculation beautifully, but it cannot enforce the rules or be held legally responsible for that calculation.
The model is the eloquent lawyer, not the judge.
Perfect analogy. It's the interpreter, not the accountant or the rule enforcer. That layer is always handled by human-designed logic, by traditional software, by services like AWS Lambda or specialized rule engines.
And this logic, it directly explains why a company like Palantir has maintained its enormous value, even as generative AI just exploded onto the scene.
They're built almost entirely around this distinction. They treat the LLM as a replaceable tool, a commodity.
The turbocharger on the engine.
Right. Their true asset, the structural core of their platform, is the ontology.
We need to define that term clearly, because it's so critical here. An ontology isn't just a database.
No, not at all. It's a formalized, structured map of the world that defines the relationships and the rules between real-world objects. It models things like a customer, an invoice, an airplane part.
And crucially, it defines the immutable permissions governing them.
Precisely. The ontology states, the factory manager object is related to the equipment object, but only the maintenance technician object has the permission to issue the shutdown command. The LLM can't override that.
So Palantir's entire goal is control over real-world decision-making. They ensure every single insight from an LLM, whether it's a military recommendation or a factory optimization, has to flow through their strict, auditable ontology first.
And this is the future of enterprise AI. The huge investment in LLM performance isn't about replacing Palantir's structure.
It's about increasing the LLM's explainability and reliability.
Exactly. The better the model explains why it made a recommendation, the more comfortable the human operator is clicking approve on the action that is actually mandated and controlled by the confirmed domain.
So it's not about making the AI smart enough to decide on its own. It's about making it smart enough to convince the human to delegate the decision.
Now let's take this concept of the confirmed domain and legal responsibility to its highest level of action, to the physical world. Let's talk about self-driving.
Specifically, Tesla's full self-driving, or FSD.
FSD is the ultimate AI agent, right? It's a system that takes a goal and autonomously plans and executes actions in the real world in real time, which is why the liability discussion is so tense.
If we contrast Tesla FSD with, say, Waymo, the difference in who holds the confirmed domain is it's stark.
It is. Waymo operates at level 4 autonomy. When their vehicle is driving, Waymo, the corporation, takes full legal and regulatory responsibility.
Waymo is performing the confirmed domain. They're accepting the liability.
Yes. But Tesla FSD, even when it's actively navigating, is legally a supervised or pilot system. The AI performs the driving action, but legally, Tesla assigns the confirmed domain, the ultimate responsibility, to the human driver.
That is the most aggressive position in the industry.
It is, and it rests entirely on the fact that the underlying models are non-deterministic. The systems for steering and braking for safety have to be deterministic and auditable.
And this brings us right to the integration of Grok, the LLM, into the Tesla system. It seems highly improbable that Grok, a non-deterministic model, will ever directly control those low-level safety functions.
It's almost impossible to imagine. If Grok, a probabilistic model, caused a crash because of a faulty command, the system would be impossible to audit in a court of law.
So what's its role then?
Its likely role is as the advanced interpreter, the explainer. It might tell the human driver why the FSD system just made a sudden defensive move. Or it could be a high-level adjuster.
Translating a command like drive comfortably to the store into FSD parameters.
Exactly. The final boundary remains absolutely firm. LLMs, even inside an advanced agent like a car, become incredibly powerful decision support entities, but they are prevented from becoming confirming or responsible entities. Regulation and their own probabilistic nature just won't allow it.
Especially where physical safety is on the line.
So, to synthesize this whole deep dive, the massive ongoing investment in LLM performance isn't aimed at replacing the human brain. It's about creating the conditions, the high reliability, the detailed explainability for humans to safely and confidently delegate authority to a system.
Well, the human or the corporation keeps that legal responsibility.
That's the key.
So what does this all mean? If LLM performance is the engine generating insight, the true long-term battle for value isn't over who builds the best engine, it's over the confirmed domain.
The rules, the audit logs, the insurance, the liability structure.
The structural winners in this game, AWS controlling the core infrastructure, Palantir controlling the ontology, they're the ones who control the operating system that runs beneath the intelligence layer.
And that investment in securing and formalizing that confirmed domain is essential. It's the slower, less flashy work, for sure. But it is the indispensable foundation for any real-world AI action.
Which leaves us with a provocative thought for you to take away. Since the confirmed domain, the source of rules, accountability, and legal responsibility, isn't going to be replaced by LLMs anytime soon, think about where the next great career opportunities are.
Not necessarily in training the next large model.
But maybe in designing the ontology,
Yeah.
designing the precise formalized systems that define the rules, the relationships, and the legal responsibility for AI's next wave of action. That's where the real structural value is going to be created.
Thank you for watching this far. That's it for today. K-Ape out. Thanks.